I do. Okay. Move into the bills.
Let's see. The attorney invoices were rather large this month due to the lawsuit and litigation and all the FOIAs. Don Holden has started the yard maintenance in the parks and the cemeteries. So we'll start seeing his invoices throughout the summer. The credit card invoice was a little larger this month. I was given an election security grant, which was $1,000 per precinct. So I was given $3,000. And Sarah and I bought new ballot containers to replace the old tin cans that we have. They're just awkward, and I think they're going to start falling apart soon. So I have to get something that will be able to be certified. And then we also bought 3 new vat containers. They're a little bit smaller, and we're just hoping to make some more room in our election closet. So, and if anybody's interested in seeing those, just ask. We'll happily open the closet. Fire fund looks like they had a little bit of vehicle maintenance this month. And then since the meeting is so early this month for us, I do have some invoices that I'm waiting on. So I'll probably have to pay those next week if that's okay with the board. I think other than that, everything is good.
$8,000 for the, what is that? Construction engineering documents? Is that what we?
Yeah.
For the architect, yeah.
okay.
If anyone would like to make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the general fund bills in the amount of $101,339.56. And out of the allocated fire fund, the amount of $26,584.02.
And Kerr extra, the last one, the late
And
one.
any other outstanding bills that come in the next, that need to be paid, so we don't get any late fee or penalty.
I'll support. Oh, sorry.
Further questions? Roll call, please.
Loveland,
Yes.
Benarski Lynch.
Yes.
Bray,
Yes.
Wyant.
Yes.
Renfro,
Yes.
Harris, yes. Lizinski.
Yes. All right, Tom, the treasurer's report.
Okay, another sheet of just a bunch of numbers. I don't know how much good it does for you. We are right now in a time during the year where we've collected everything out of tax except for delinquents. And I did get notification yesterday that our delinquent check is available, is ready for us. And that is for any properties that were not paid that are the real properties, and any delinquent special assessments that were not paid by February 28th. And so the county does reimburse the townships for all those, and then they turn around and collect them from the property owners. And of course, it's kind of a little bit slower time in the treasurer's office right now with not having to collect property taxes, but we are getting ready tomorrow to do sewer usage billing, quarterly billing. And that's about it. If anybody has any questions about all the numbers on the treasurer's report pages, I'll be good to answer.
Anything?
Oh, just one other thing. We are still hanging in there in regards to Michigan Class, our investments, anything monies that we have at Michigan Class. We're still running somewhere around 4.4, 4.5% on any of that monies at Michigan Class. So that's still not too bad in comparison to rate.
Good. Sure.
So I just wanted to make a comment off of Tom's comment regarding the taxes. I know a lot of people look at our fund balances and they see that general fund. But think about how many townships we have in Grass Lake and villages as well. Anybody who doesn't pay their taxes, we pay those townships for those taxes. So that money has to sit there. And I know it looks like there's money there, but not always. It just depends on the tax year because we may pay for that or we may have attorney fees as well. And I think it's really important for people to understand that that money's not just sitting there gaining interest. It's there for a reason. And thank you for bringing that to everybody's attention, Tom.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Tom? Motion to accept and file.
Sport. I mean, I will.
That sounds good. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. In front of you, for correspondence, I got this email this morning, regarding, the, state legislators. There's a group of Republicans that are trying to organize and, repeal the state citing law. Just thought it was interesting read, not that anything might come of it, I don't know. But just thought I'd pass that on to you because I thought it was a bit interesting. Public comment. If anybody would like to make public comment in regards to the items that we're about to go over, they'd be more than happy to get 2 minutes.
Ruth McDaniels, 3450 Sager Road, Grass Lake, Michigan. Going back to your comment about the fiber and the 3 different companies, I try to nip a lot of that in the bud when I see it coming up on Facebook. Can the township maybe put out what 3 companies are out and like what areas are those 3 companies, or do we not know that?
Because the properties that they're digging through
Uh-huh.
is county owned. They do not come to us for permits or anything.
Right.
So we really don't know
Who's where, what, and when?
who's doing what, where, and when.
Okay.
The only one that I know of is because with the village, it's different.
Yeah.
I know I can call into the village and who's working where.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that.
Yeah. It just would be a lot easier, I think, for the township and the village. I mean, like out by us, we're excited that we have MEC.
Mhm.
And if you're out by me, I would jump on them because the rates are great. We've been with them since the beginning and we have not had one iota issue, knock on wood, because, you know, with all the storms that we've had, if we had Frontier, we would have been down. And so hopefully if your option is Frontier, maybe you find something better, but
we won't
we won't
either
talk about
confirm
that.
or deny those remarks.
But I'm just saying, if you're in my area, hop on MEC because their customer service is great. We had to come out twice because we wanted them to specifically come away from the road to the house because we're set back so far because we didn't want them tearing up our gravel driveway. And they were really good at accommodating us to the best of their ability. But yeah, I mean, I think I called their customer service time like 3 times trying to make sure that I understood exactly what was
Now,
going on.
I will, for those that are interested, you can go to a website, and I believe it's, I can't remember it. Email me or call me. You can go to a website, you can put in your address.
Yeah.
And MEC will be able to tell you when they're going to be there if they are.
Yeah.
But the way all this has worked, we even have 2 or 3 other companies that are trying to get us to write letters of approval for them to come
Come
in
in, yeah. Mhm.
because of the separation of grants. The state just kind of, I shouldn't say state, federally, they
Yeah.
put it out in 2 segments, so it's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But
And-
thank you, Ruth. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
And
Your
no, it's
time's
okay.
up.
And MEC is Midwest Energy Company? Corporation.
I think.
So, and you can put your address in and they'll say, yep, we're there, or no,
Okay.
they're not. But
We're gonna
Yeah,
move on.
sorry.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. We'll go ahead and get into our comments. Thank you, Ruth. I'm sorry. Okay. Building discussion. I guess I'll go ahead and start with what I got going on with this building here. I've contacted 3 different roofing companies. I had one stop in today and give us a rough idea what it might cost, much higher than what the company did last fall. But we'll see where they go. I'm gonna make sure that I get bids that are apples to apples. Met with Wires. He's gonna be doing the work here within the next few months to get that. He's just getting everybody aligned because we got to cut out cement, lay cement, all that good stuff. And that's it on my end.
On the new building, I know that Dave Adams has been working with myself and architect, what's his name?
Paul.
Paul again to do the electronic and several things just to help to make sure it was following what we would want long term. So he's been really helpful to do that.
Good. Any questions? Okay. Sewer report, hot off the press, came in email today, is the report from Holland in regards to a proposal of updating the sewer system on 2 levels. Number 1, it would give us some growth, and it would also help us fix the current issues that we have. So take a look at it. Essentially what it is, I think we may have talked about it, is running or putting in 2 new lift stations and running the sewer from the east side and the north side and bringing it through here and back here, through our property here, and dumping that into the Sylvan lift station down on Michigan Avenue and Willis Road. So it would alleviate a lot of the pressure of the Water Street station, which is keep praying that it keeps on going because it's being band-aided quite a bit right now. So read through this. I have a lot of information that I learned while in Grand Rapids last week. Some thoughts and ideas that I'd like to propose moving towards that would put us in a better position to be able to get loans or grants. And I guess the key word there is regionalization of our 2 systems, the village and the township. Combining that into one is one thought that I have for a lot of different reasons other than just that. But we're at a crossroads that needs to be taken care of. And I was told by a developer today, he keeps looking at us and being on a 7-year plan. And maybe he's right. But I'm kind of I'm hoping to a 2-year plan, which it would be pretty aggressive. But just for instance, SLRF bonds or grants, the success rate or the failure rate, I'll put it that way, is 60 to 80%. And they base those grants a lot on income. And unfortunately, Grass Lake is it's a top 10% income, mean or median income community. So we lose a ton of points. Regionalization adds new points that could help us. But the chance of getting those are very, very difficult. So we probably need to look at this in a more aggressive effort. And we will be discussing this quite a bit over the course of the next several months. My first meeting with the village will be tomorrow to start laying the framework as to where I think we need to go as a township, quite frankly, because the growth is within the township, I get it, but we're at the mercy of the village because they own the contractual rights to dumping in to Leone and we don't. How can we rectify that? So we'll be working on that, and the three of us with our little subcommittee will get started on that, I would say within the next few weeks, because I'm going to start pushing the issue really, really hard and see where it falls. But we have to do something.
Well,
This
ideally,
is-
in my mind, it makes sense to try to get the solutions taken care of prior to the state allowing us to do more RU hookup.
The
Because
problem I think is going to be, and I don't know this for sure, Tina, but I think that they're not going to allow us to move forward. Well, I do know this. First off, they're not going to let us move forward without doing I&I testing, smoke testing, and putting in flow meters
before we can even try to
before we can even try to get
to
that.
fix the system that we have.
Yes. And right now, the rough estimate is about $110,000 just to get through that process. And then we
So
would
that
have to
doesn't
put all,
include this 10 million.
no, that does not include that. That's just open the door to the conversation of engineering and bidding and talking to the state to get the approval to even move forward. So, I guess I know we've tried to get down this road before. I feel a little bit more, what's the right word, educated in what I learned, and I'm talking to people outside that understand sewer systems and understand the idea of regionalizing and that type of thing. Because within the next year and a half too, folks, we're going to own a line that is sitting out on I-94 from Washtenaw County line to the wastewater treatment plant. We literally have 7 hookups. I think it's roughly 63 REUs on it because of the Tenneco, which is 50 of them or something like that. We're going to own that line and have to take over O&M and be in business with Sylvan and Linden Township. And I have a meeting, I think it's this coming Thursday with them next week, because we have to figure out how that's all going to work and how are we going to charge them and how all that works. So sewer is, that's what the village is doing to us, but it's a lot different. They have 99.9% of the flow. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Plus that's, I think, a 12-inch main, force main, that the growth of that line is beyond anything we would see in our lifetimes. So
But I
But-
thought the conclusion page was optimistic, so
it is optimistic.
there is a plan.
There's a plan, and we just have to follow through on it and push it, and we'll see where it goes with the village. I mean, either way, whether or not we regionalize or don't regionalize, we have to come up with something. And it should have happened by now, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. The other thing is Tom and I discussed rates yesterday, and I know Tom, just gave them to him yesterday to look at. So we'll be looking at rates here in the next month probably as to where we're gonna go with those. We know that we're gonna probably have to, well, we're gonna have to increase them. The wastewater treatment plant's going up 4.3% for their services, and then the village O&M and routine went up on a percentage basis. I can't tell you, but it went up to $15. I know that.
It's currently 12,
Okay.
$12.03 or something like
Yeah.
that per RU, and it's going up, what is it, to 14?
Maybe it's 14.30 or something.
14.55 or somewhere in that neighborhood, but. um,
So we'll be talking about that. Cell tower, I just let you know, I got in contact with the gentleman that took over for Susan, and him and I talked briefly, but the conversation's already started on that as to what we're gonna do there, and get him up to date, so to speak, because he wasn't even sure what Susan had for us. So I sent all that. We'll be talking about this a little bit more in future meetings, because I don't think it's a situation that we need to rush into. Any questions on that? Okay, when it comes to the solar ordinance, we had made a comment, or I had made a comment back probably in January, February, of the idea of doing some type of a public hearing type of thing. I think what we're gonna do is hold a special meeting with the only thing that'll be on the agenda, unless something pops up that we need to vote on, and just entirely devote those hours or time to doing solar work as to what direction we're going to take. And we've had a lot of conversations, obviously, with our lawyers and their recommendations, and us as board. We've worked on it for quite a while now. So I'd like to set that meeting up either. I did want to have it on the 22nd, but we have our first court hearing on the 21st. So, and that's a Monday. So in case we had to reschedule our Monday work session meeting, I wanted to keep that Tuesday open. So I don't know if 4/29 would work for everybody.
What time of the day?
I'm thinking if we started the meeting at, like, we could do an evening meeting, but earlier maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking like 5:30, 6 o'clock. Yeah, oh yeah, yes, most definitely. What if we did 6 o'clock,
On April 29th?
April 29th? Well, all it is, it's not a public hearing that we need to post. It's a special meeting. We just have to post it 18 hours ahead of time. So
You said 6?
6 o'clock on the 29th?
What day is that again?
It's a Tuesday. There you go.
I'll come in right after.
Cool. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll do it that evening and see where it goes. 6 p.m. Beautiful. I'm sure that we'll fill the house, and that's good. Just we'll figure out how we're going to lay out the land of the meeting itself in public speaking. I would suspect we'll do the same thing that we currently do, and do 2 minutes pre and then up to 3 minutes afterwards. I think we'll probably go in that direction. So please come. Okay, anything else there? Next thing is in front of you is a employee handbook, which I don't think we've ever had. We worked with, well, I shouldn't say we, Sarah, our deputy clerk, did the vast majority of the
Just
work.
to say, we did have one.
Well,
I just put it in my,
did we have
recycling
did we have a
today because we
handbook?
were getting a new one. Yeah.
Okay, because all I have is policies and procedures. Okay, well
But
then,
anyway,
good,
I mean, we're
good.
redoing it, but
But we're redoing it, and we did it in relationship to the recommendations of HR Muni, which is the same thing as we approved for the fire department with Lexipol through the power plan. We're just going through it right now. We have our law firm just looking at to make sure that we got our X's or T's crossed properly and I's dotted, and we didn't miss anything or miswrite it. So we should be ready to vote on this for next month. So the only things of any concern, if you want to call that, because of the new STA or ESTA, the Earned Sick Time Act, when you factor that in with our way of figuring out PTO time, kind of look at that. I've looked at it a little bit. It could cause some issues with amount of time off because we're part-time. And I hate to use an example, one person, but I'll use one person's example, won't mention names. Works roughly 15 hours a week, 12 hours a week, but has been with us for quite a while. So she's factoring in on the PTO time at a higher level. That comes out to be over 6 or 7 weeks, I think over 7 or 8 weeks off a year. Could that cause a problem? Possibly, possibly not. So,
I can say that in my job, if I was part-time, it's not equated like that.
yeah,
So if you're part-time, you're part-time.
Well-
Regardless of your length of.
of time, and does it come down to weeks off a year, or does it come
It's
to a
hours
factor?
that end up being.
So they use a factor.
Dig into my employee, I can tell you
Okay.
what might help. I don't know.
I mean, I think our employees all deserve time off, don't get me wrong, but that earned sick time too is kind of funky because how is it used? How do you report to use it? It's just, the law is kind of
that's
cloudy.
the state now. I mean,
That's the
not
state,
us.
yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So just kind of look at that and see what you think. Okay. Mr. Jones, please. We actually have 11 people, so our internet is working.
So I'll probably mess this up. Brent Jones, Grass Lake Fire. I'm here to present the report for the month of March. You can see we had 28 total calls. Mutual aid given was 10, which is higher than normal. We've had some structure fires. We had some grass fires that require a lot of people. So that was a total of 11 because we received once, and for a total of 39 for the month of March. The only other thing we have is 2 applicants you guys have in front of you, Jordan Comer and Dennis Niles. So we're looking for approval to get those guys going. Questions, comments, concerns?
So where were the help that we got from other townships or other?
So there was aid given, if you look at the report. So mutual aid given.
Sorry, I
That was Leone, the city. I know that you went into the
Yeah.
city.
So we just had a bad fire the other day, but that's obviously that'll be this next month's report. But
Gotcha.
yeah, we've gone to the city a few times. We actually had to do a lot of work. Napoleon, and Leone, obviously.
In relation to training, will both of these applicants have to go through full training?
I believe Jordan already has some training currently. But Dennis Niles will have to go through all the training.
These two applications, if you call them that, really don't give us a whole lot of information.
I think we only gave you the front page.
Yeah.
So if you want. Yeah, I don't have them with me right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't print out the background check and all that. I have all that stuff with
Do
me. So
they pass their background
Yeah.
checks?
yep, everything came back clear. So
Okay.
Are they recommended by you to?
absolutely, yep, met with both of them. One lives across the street, so it's kind of convenient. Yep. So response time can increase or get better. And the other guy is just outside of Grass Lake on Hayes Road. So
Motion,
I'll make a motion to accept the application for Jordan, is it Comer?
Yep.
And then for Dennis Niles to be part of the Grass Lake Charter Township Fire Department.
support.
Support.
Any other questions for Mr. Jones? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed?
all right, thank
Good
you
to
very
go.
much.
Thank you. Okay. 3 minutes. Anybody like to speak to the board? Going once? Oh, okay. We already, you're third in line, or Amy's next.
So can I ask a question or is it only a comment?
If I can answer it, I will.
My question is why are we circling back on the special meeting for solar? I thought that your township taxpayers spent the past year and a half, almost 2 years, developing this ordinance that we worked in conjunction with Waterloo, that I thought the planning committee also approved.
The final vote is with us, and we have not made that vote yet.
And why are we spending taxpayer dollars for you to go to our attorney to rewrite something that we haven't even passed yet?
We're not having him rewrite it. We had him step through the process with us because we want to make a good, solid decision based on the laws.
How much money is the township spending on this?
Not that much. Maybe in total, I couldn't tell you, but
Didn't have it this month. I had it last month, but
yeah, we haven't really spent any money on it this month other than a couple phone calls.
It's just concerning for me because we as a community spent a lot of time, and you know, you were out at our meeting, trying to develop what is going to work best for all of us. And, you know, I'm going by what I hear in the community. So that's kind of why I'm calling you out on it right now, because I feel like there should be no money being spent on this attorney, because that ordinance that was given is actually less requirements than the state, from my understanding. And why, I almost feel like there's some kind of a deal made with solar. The reason why we're still talking about this, because John, I think last meeting you said they pulled out.
They pulled out a rezoning. Yes, that's true.
Okay,
That is true.
all right. So this is just a special meeting to redefine this ordinance?
What it is for us to make a decision as a township board to accept what the planning commission gave to us in their recommendations. We can do that. We can turn it down and send it back with recommendations. We could, I don't know, what else? We could probably just flat out turn down what they recommended to us.
They meaning us.
The planning
community?
commission, what the planning commission gave us.
Okay.
We're just making the final decision with the township.
Okay.
Now,
And then do we have a voice at that meeting?
you do have your voice, yes. But I get in trouble every time that I say this, but it's the truth. The 7 of us are going to vote however we vote.
And then do the 7 of you talk to our other committees? Because the whole sewage thing was talked about at the planning committee, and a lady, actually, I don't know her name, I didn't take notes on her, talked about the whole sewage situation. Maybe it
That was, I think that
ours.
was at our meeting last month.
So, like, she told you we were beyond capacity.
I'll put it to you this way. Government works very slowly. Okay? I meet with people all day long. And it's not all 7 of us because we can't meet every day and talk about these things. We know about all these issues, but there's a lot of, with the sewers, there's a lot of elements that go into it. It's just not what we do here or what the village does. It's Leone Township. It's what the state does. It's what Eagle does. It's what engineering's doing.
Mhm.
So a lot of work goes into all these things, and a lot of work has gone into the solar thing as well. When it comes to a decision, and I've explained this as well, we can do a CREO, and that's basically just opening the door, following along with what the state's dictating. Follow along that way. We can do a workable ordinance or something there, and that's kind of where we're at. We're trying to do a workable ordinance. We can do that workable ordinance and leave it the way it is, and then the developer will just say, okay, see you later, we're going to the state. And that might be an option. I don't know. But when us as board members, when we look at it, we're looking not only at one solar farm, we're looking at the solar as a whole. If we make a decision to pass an ordinance the way it is, change it differently, whatever, that's for the township as a whole, not just one person.
Oh, I get
Yeah.
that. And I hope that everybody kind of drives around and looks at this community and
Mhm.
that hot mess over on Francisco Road. I drove by today and I'm embarrassed to
No,
think that
and-
we would allow them to think that that's acceptable to go in front of those residents that live there and pay a lot of tax dollars to this community. And I feel like as a personal person that pays the tax dollars here, I don't feel like I'm being represented very fairly.
Well,
I feel like there's more importance on putting a fence around a cemetery or spending money on an attorney on situations where I feel like
I'm
your
going to answer
community is.
one question and then we'll end this conversation, move to the next. The main job of this township board and this supervisor is to avoid legal peril.
Mhm.
We're spending a lot of money on lawyers to do just that
Mhm.
and then more
Mhm.
because of other things.
Yep.
It's not just this.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing.
Yep.
And I'll just leave it at that.
And that's why you got to kind of watch your P's and Q's, right?
Well, I'm not going to,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay,
Amy.
Stole my thunder, but Amy Stevens, 2805 Gray Tower Road. I shared the article from Our Home, Our Voice on our Facebook page, if anybody's interested. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of bring up or ask, I don't know. So the lawyers that are involved with that is Fahey Schultz.
Yes.
Aren't they representing the energy companies?
No.
Because I had read over and over again that they were.
No.
Okay. Because that's a conflict of interest.
If somebody spread that rumor, and that's what it is, a rumor, I've talked to them directly, and they do not represent one solar company.
Okay. Because I saw something in the Alpena News saying that too. And then the special meeting for solar. So like the workable ordinance that we were going over, the one from Waterloo Township, has that been redlined at all? And
Yes,
okay, are we going to be able to see that at the
No.
special meeting?
not right now. And I'm say no, I'm just not sure.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll check into that. I don't know. I will find out.
okay, all right. Let me see if I had something else. I guess that was it. Okay,
I'll let you know though.
okay, thank you so much. Thanks.
Dan O'Dale, 3450 Sager, Grass Lake. My comment is more informational. We were talking about Midwest earlier. It's actually Midwest Energy and Communications. Their website is teammidwest.com.
Thank you.
And we've had very good experience with them out on the northeast part of Grass Lake Township.
Good. Thank you.
Hello, Sarah Hogold, 2700 Mount Hope Road. I just want to say, with the workable ordinance, the good people of this township helped write the ordinance for the large scale utility, and now you're having your lawyer relook it over and rewrite it. I mean, I don't know if that's true or whatever. You said that he's just looking it over, but what the large scale utility Next Era or whatever they call themselves these days didn't want to comply with the yearly water testing and zero runoff for the wetlands. I mean, from what I've heard. So the lawyer was relooking it over, but I mean, for them not to work with us with yearly water testings or zero runoff in the wetlands, that kind of sends red flags up all over the place. I mean, it's very disturbing. So that's all I have to say about that. But also I wanted to touch on, I noticed that on the planning commission agenda, there was a wedding venue that was applying for a special use permit. And I was just wondering if, everybody that has a wedding venue and party venue has to apply for a special use permit. Because when I asked about short-term rentals having wedding venues and parties, that they were allowable. So do you need a special use permit, or do you just need to have a short-term rental license?
You're supposed to have a special land use permit, I believe.
So
Am I right?
the short-term rentals that are having wedding venues and party venues are, if they don't have a special use permit, they are not,
You're probably not familiar enough just yet, are you? You know what? I will get an answer for you on that as well, because I'm not 100% positive. I would think they have to have a special land use. Though it would be my first instinct.
okay, on top of the short-term rental.
That would be my instinct, yes.
Okay, so if they don't have both, then they're operating illegally, running a wedding venue and party venue.
Quite possibly. But I don't want to confirm it until I confirm for sure. I'd have to talk to Dan and read my book.
Okay.
I'll
all right.
find out.
Okay, thank you very
We
much.
got your number, so we'll get a hold of you.
Okay, all
Okay,
right, great, thank
cool.
you.
Lynn Zellis, 1987 Sarassi Lake Road. I just was hoping you would elaborate on the email that you got from the feds, the Republican Party. I didn't, at the beginning of the meeting, you had mentioned that you received an email from the federal government, the Republican Party. You didn't say that?
Oh, the correspondence that I got?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, the
I
the
didn't
state
see it.
government? I'll give you a copy
Yeah,
of it.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll give you a
I
copy
just
of
didn't
it.
know what it was about.
Yeah, there's just some state legislators that are trying to get together to repeal PA 233. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, anyone else? Well, once, going twice. Gone. Motion to adjourn? Support?
Support.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.